Good morning, friends. Welcome to Interfaith Community Sanctuary. My name is Sally Jo, and I'm co-minister here with Imam Jamal Rahman. We welcome you on this rainy day, full of blessings from above. One of my teachers always said that when rain falls from the sky, it's blessing. The Lord is blessing us with fresh water that we need. So we're very grateful for that. I will ring the bell to begin our official service, so you'll know it's coming. And we'll begin with some beautiful chanting music by our musician, Isla Ross. Thank you, Isla.
Oh my, 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 oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my.
Thank you so much, Sister Isla. Beautiful chant to the divine feminine. So we like to open our services every Sunday with an invitation and a recognition and acknowledgement of our ancestors, all of our relations in this universe, in this planet, on this beautiful Mother Earth, all of the generations that have come before us, of people, human beings, non-human beings, animal beings, fish beings, all the plant beings and all the things in between plant and animal that have lived and are still living on this planet Earth, this beautiful planet Earth, that we sometimes refer to as all our relations. We invite them in to this gathering because this gathering is an open gathering. We want everybody to feel as they belong with us, if they choose to be with us. And in this time, especially when we go through difficult times, I don't know about you all, but I think a lot about wishing I could pick up the phone and call my mom and my dad. I really want to do that, and I really want to know what they would tell me. And even when we have a weekly call with my siblings every Sunday morning, and we're always saying, what would Dad say? What would Mom say? And we're all talking about trying to channel that wisdom, because most of us, I think all of us feel in our ancestry somewhere there was a lot of wisdom and a lot of experience and history and all things that would have been useful to us, lessons learned from the past, mistakes made, good things that happened that were unexpected, surprises. All these things have been happening for many, many generations of human beings and in human civilization, which is often what we're grappling with. And then we need to remember that it's all going on into the future as well. And we will become people's ancestors. We will become the ancestors in the future. And although we are trained to try to stay in the present moment, we also are asked to remember that time is a continuum and that it has been going on for billions of years, since the earth was created, and it will be going on, hopefully, for many more decades and years and centuries and millennia, hopefully, if we all make good decisions. So we invite our ancestors in to help us to discern the wisdom that we know has come down from us. We also at this time like to honor our first people of this area upon whose land we stand, upon whose unceded territory we, the other people who were not indigenous to this land, invaded little by little over the centuries and eventually took over the land and moved out the people who belonged here. Yet they stewarded this land for us for many, again, millennia, and they did it without destroying it, without losing it, without making havoc of it. And they're still with us. We know that there are still Native American people living in this area from the Coast Salish tribes and from many other tribes. And the original people here were the Coast Salish people, which consisted of many tribes of people. We acknowledge them, we thank them, we apologize to them for all the injustices done to them on the behalf of people who were colonizing, and we ask their forgiveness, and we seek to work together with them now and in the future to preserve our land, our waters, our salmon, our wildlife, our environment, and make it possible for us to continue as a civilization in this area and make have a life that is good and pure and healthy. And we also all make an offering to the Divine Feminine, and I will ask George to do our Divine Feminine offering this morning.
Thank you, Sally Jo. And Bryce, if it's okay, I think I'm going to sit for this. So, hello all, and welcome. And I'm delighted by this portion of our service every month. It's one of the best parts of it, the offering to the Divine Feminine. And why I like it so much is that this is not a male or female thing. For me at least, and everybody has their own interpretation. But this time in our service is a time where we can reflect upon the opportunity we have to give birth to the divine within us all. And today, as an offering to the divine feminine, I thought I would share a reading from a beautiful book I'm currently reading entitled A New Silence. And it's written by Beverly Lanzetta. And here's what she has to say. And the other thing, too, is as I read this, not only is it an offering to the divine feminine, but it fits in, I think it fits in well with our theme for this year, the awakening, collective awakening and beloved community. So again, here's what Beverly has to say. The divine feminine is a powerful force of awareness, reminding us of how the intrinsic and holy unity of life is being systematically harmed or destroyed. She represents the innocence of heart as the highest ideal and holds her pure sight even in the midst of atrocities, suffering, and pain. Her presence dispels the sins we harbor and the fracturing of love that mars the soul of creation today. The wisdom of Hagia Sophia is so gentle and strong, so delicate and merciful, that we need new eyes to see, new ears to hear, and new hearts to feel the intensity of her message. Few religions embody her teachings. She does not convince, enforce, or convert, but reveals what is possible. Her way is radically gentle and tender, profoundly merciful and nonviolent. At times, even proclamation or pronouncement can be an affront to the subtle manner in which she enters our souls and heals our inner lives. Hagia Sophia offers a vision that calls each of us not only to forgive, repair, and restore, but also to approach each other and all creation with benevolence and non-harm. As one humanity, we have shouldered too much punishment, too many tears, and too much disdain. We take so much of life for granted. Her wisdom offers unity, bridging divisions within oneself and in societies to help mend the fractures in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, George. Wow. Let's let that sit for a moment. That was quite deep. Our world is asking for a lot of healing right now. And before I introduce our guest speaker this morning, I'd like to give just a little brief reminder of what our spiritual discernment is for this year, which George alluded to, and it's on the backside of your program. It's written out briefly. And the topic we are trying to focus on and study in community this year is called Engaged Buddhism, Collective Awakening in Beloved Community. And it isn't about Buddhism as a religion. It's about the thought and the practices and the philosophies or the principles of Buddhism that we're bringing to light here as we try to strengthen our own community and try to understand how this small community fits in with the larger community in which we live here in Seattle, in Washington State, in the nation, and in the world. Okay, so it's a big topic, and it can be approached from many different angles. In the month of January, we're focusing, as we are actually all year long, the major principle of all of this is the principle of interbeing, which can also be thought of as interrelationship. How does each of us individual people, souls, with a body that we can see and touch, how do we interact with and how are we interrelated to and interconnected with every other being in our world, on our planet, and in the cosmos? Well, that's a pretty big question. But the wonderful part about that question is you can answer it in a gazillion different ways. And as long as we're asking the question, I feel we're on the right track. When we don't ask how we're interrelated with others and we focus only on our little self, we've lost some very, very important resources. Picture a tree. If a tree were growing in the middle of a desert where there were no other trees around and no other green plants, the chances for survival would be pretty low. And it'd be a lonely place for that tree. Okay? So trees we normally find in forests, and those trees are interacting with each other, we have learned, all the time, through their root systems, through their leaves, through their branches, through the messages they send each other, and the microbes that travel between them, and the animals that pollinate it's an astonishing community. Now, they might not be writing books about it or talking in language that we can understand, but it doesn't mean they're not interbeing. In fact, they are. And when you or I walk into a forest, we become a part of that interbeing. I don't know if you've experienced this, but I have. When you walk into a forest, there's an energy there. And if you're quiet, I notice this happens to me, particularly if I'm alone, and if it's a rainy day or a sunny day or any kind of a day, there is an energy, and there you can communicate with the life that's going on in that forest. And that's a forest. Now, if we walk into a public space where there are a lot of people around, guess what? It's the same thing. We're getting energy from those people that are around us, and we're giving energy and receiving energy all the time. We might be talking to them, we might not be. We might be smiling, we may be waving, we might pass by and bump them. Anything can happen, but we are interacting with them, and in fact, we're interbeing with them. And it is my belief that what happens to one of us happens to all of us on some level. So I'd like to let you sit with that this morning as we listen to our guest, Dave Brown, who is a wonderful friend of ours and a longtime participant in many activities at this church. And Pastor Dave Brown, I have his little bio written here. He's a writer and a poet. He loves poetry. He currently works with Imam Jamal Rahman on programs about deep interfaith friendship. He's a creator and host of his award-winning BLUES VESPERS. We've had some of those programs here and have enjoyed them immensely. We'd like to have some more. He told me this afternoon he's going down to another one in the U District. I'm like, where is it? I want to come. Where is it?
In Tacoma is University of Puget Sound.
Okay. Well, Tacoma's, but he said down to the university, and see how I made an assumption it was our university. Okay, University of Puget Sound. And anyway, check out his BLUES VESPERS programs when you hear about them coming, because they're actually wonderful. And we do try to have them a couple times a year here. He also writes a monthly column of Resetting the Inner Compass for the online magazine Justice Unbound, and I know he often has letters in the Seattle Times, in the religion pages. He's a Presbyterian minister, a member of his denomination's Public Education Roundtable, and former pastor of Immanuel Presbyterian Church in Tacoma. So we'd like to welcome Dave here this morning, and we're very glad to have him here, and he will be sharing his wisdom with us and some spiritual thoughts for us. Thank you, Dave. And his wife Ann is here. Be sure to say hi to Ann afterward.
Test, hello? There are sound people all across the Pacific Northwest and in other parts that know that I'm completely useless with technology. I'm going to stand for some of this and then maybe later on sit. My style has always been sort of to pace around and stand, and when they asked if I wanted to hold the mic, the New Yorker in me really wouldn't know how to talk if I couldn't move my hands. And so it's good to be here, and as Sally Jo was saying, it's always a bit like coming home when Ann and I drive up to Ballard from Tacoma, because we've been floating around here for about 11 years. I realized that it was about 11 or 12 years ago where, at that point, Rabbi Ted and Brother Jamal said, would you occasionally like to do some programs with us? And it was Martin Luther King Day in 2015, I think, where as Northwest Interfaith Amigos, we did our first program at Highline Community College, and I was thinking that driving up. Be patient with me a little bit, because for some reason I was awake at 3:30 in the morning, processing a million things, and then had to drive in a rainstorm up Interstate 5, so I may not be as radically crisp as you would expect me to be. It goes without saying that we live in a difficult time, and at 77, I've seen many difficult periods of time. Coming of age, for example, during the struggle for civil rights in the Vietnam era. But I would have to admit, at least in the arc of my 77 years, I've never lived through what I've lived through the past year. There is such a level of brokenness and hatred and division in our nation and world, such violence. My New Jersey native Bruce Springsteen's Darkness at the Edge of Town has now come and taken hold of the town square and is a residence in the town square. Sally Jo wrote to me in the email on Monday setting up our information, and if you don't mind, I'll quote you. And I guess if you do mind, I'll still quote you. We are all trying to imagine a better and more just future. To that I say to my friend, amen. And it's hard right now. And it's really hard right now. So my theme is hope. And for the next 25 minutes or so, I'm going to help us think a little bit about hope as we struggle to believe Dr. King's words, that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it is moving towards justice. And note that I said, as we struggle to believe those words. How do we find light in this dark season? What does it mean for spiritually grounded people like you and I to maintain hope, to feel the light in the darkness at times when it is so dark and there is such hopelessness? So for the next bit of time, join me in that reflection as I throw some ideas out there. Know that where I am deeply committed to interfaith, and my spirituality is radically inclusive and has rejected any part of Christianity that claims exclusivity. Know that as a member of the Christian community, that has shaped some of my language and some of my spirituality, and there may be some hints of Christianity in my reflection with you. I apologize if that offends anybody, but it's part of who I am, an interfaith Christian pastor. As we get rolling on this, I want to invite a minute or so of silence for us to get grounded and to think to ourselves about this question. When in the last month, in January, when have you experienced beauty? When have you been present to a sense of beauty and wonder? Remember a time in your life in the last month when that has happened. we give thanks for those times of beauty in our lives. Amen. I'll start with one of several, it's me, right? One of several poems that I'm going to read in the next 15 minutes or so. This is called Insha'Allah by the poet Danusha Lamaris. I don't know when it slipped into my speech, that soft word meaning if God wills it. Insha'Allah, I will see you next summer. The baby will come in spring, insha'Allah. Insha'Allah, this year we'll have enough rain. So many plans have unraveled easily as braids beneath my mother's quick fingers. Every language must have a word for this, a word our grandmothers uttered under their breath as they pinned the whites, soaked in lemon, hung them to dry in the sun, or peeled potatoes, dropping the discarded skins into a bowl. Our sons will return next month, insha'Allah. Insha'Allah, this war will end soon. Insha'Allah, the rice will be enough to last through the winter. How lightly we learn to hold hope, as if it were an animal that could turn around and bite your hand, and still we carry it the way a mother would, carefully, from one day to the next. Insha'Allah by Danusha Lamaris. So friends, what is hope? One of Emily Dickinson's best-known poems has a first stanza that echoes the quote that's on the front of your bulletin. Emily writes, "Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all." So what is this thing that perches in the soul and sings? How would you define hope? Is it different than being optimistic? Is there something distinctive of hope if we approach it grounded in a faith tradition or in our spirituality that is outside a faith tradition? For me, as an interfaith Christian, how do I understand hope? Merriam-Webster, and I'll tell you a side story. I have such an affection for Webster's dictionary, and I read in my mother's journal that she was working on right before the cancer diagnosis that I was to run away from home when I was 10 years old, and my mother said, "Well, what are you going to take with you?" Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Paranoid? Why? She said, "So I can understand what people are saying about me." Back to hope. Merriam-Webster gives several definitions of hope. Hope is, one, to cherish a desire with anticipation. Two, to desire with expectation of obtainment. Three, to expect with confidence. In all three cases, we can agree that hope is a positive feeling. The last two definitions add an extra dimension that hope involves expecting what you hope for to come true. Emily's bird perched in the soul is singing a song that has confidence in the future, that believes good things are going to come to pass. And my guess is that is the very hope that we struggle with in 2026. We struggle to believe good things are going to come to pass especially if we look at the first month of 2026, when the news is filled with horror and terror, on tragic days when we saw videos of the murders of Renee Good and Alex Pretty. I need to name their name every Sunday. It can be a struggle in our daily lives to keep a positive attitude and expect the good things are going to happen, right? Is that what hope is? Living with the expectation that good things are going to happen. Yes and no. I believe, and here's the first point, hope with spiritual depth, authentic hope, is obviously about anticipating something good in the future, but I think spiritual hope is more specific. Authentic hope, grounded in faith, is not a generic feeling of anticipation. It is hope that is grounded in our sense of the Spirit, our sense of supreme love, of what some people call God, a belief that the way of love and kindness found in our spirituality, found in this room, found in our religious traditions, will eventually be known on earth. Spiritual hope is grounded in that. It's not generic. As a Christian, my hope is grounded in Jesus' vision of what human life can be like. Again, because this is important to me, the hope we are invited to at the Interfaith Community Sanctuary is not a generic positive good feeling about life, about the future. It is hope that looks at the future and believes, sometimes against all odds, that love will eventually win. As Anne Lamott wrote in her book, Plan B, Further Notes of Faith, and I will clean the language up, hope is about choosing to believe this one thing, that love is bigger than any grim, bleak stuff anyone can throw at us. Love is bigger than any of the stuff that people can throw at us. So that means that hope, stay with me here, is bigger than optimism, different than optimism. Optimism is looking on the bright side of life, looking at the world and our lives with rose-colored glasses. Authentic hope is radically different than that, in my opinion. Hope does not ask you to ignore or gloss over the grim stuff that is happening in the world. It does not ask you to be positive and happy all the time. Authentic hope is realistic. It knows that stuff happens. It knows that stuff happens in this life that can wear us down and break our hearts, and that having our hearts broken is part of human life and of loving deeply. I know that some religious people, some spiritual but not religious people, have a hard time with the concept that hope means realizing that there's grim stuff out there. There are, in certain corners of faith communities or spiritual communities, an impulse to somehow, I'm going to fix it, everything's going to be okay, to paint happy faces on the harsh realities of life. This is, as I see it, not hope. Quite frankly, it is a type of denial, religious or spiritual escapism that can damage the soul and make people who are really suffering, people who feel the hurts in the world and in their hearts, feel guilty, as if something is wrong with them because their faith doesn't always make them wear a happy face. Again, I believe real hope is acquainted with grief and pain and despair. It doesn't deny that bad things happen or minimize the pain we experience as part of some big picture. It embraces the hard stuff and still maintains hope. Hope walks hand in hand with lament and with grief. The great Old Testament theologian Walter Brueggemann wrote, and I quote, "A prerequisite to the concrete public act of hope is an expression of despair." He continues, referring to a passage from Jeremiah in the Hebrew Bible. I quote Brueggemann again. Both Jeremiah and God engaged in that despair. Those who are sobered by the human prospect must fully grieve and lament the emptiness of the human prospect. Only then, Brueggemann says, is the new word of hope given and received. It is the grief of Jeremiah that is the ground of hope. It is the painful word that precedes the anticipatory word. Speechless people are bound to be hopeless, left only with their wishes. Brueggemann closes his sentence, grief-filled speech allows hope-filled action. That's a great line. Grief-filled speech allows hope-filled action. ICS friends, hope isn't seeing a silver lining. It's not rooted in denying that grim stuff is real, but it is based on our active belief that love is bigger than any of the grim stuff that anyone can throw at us. It is this hope that draws us together. In my community, the Christian community, that hope is grounded in the love we see in the one born in Bethlehem, our confidence in his way and the mystery of God's love that enables us to look honestly at life and still sometimes cautiously be hopeful. Our hope is grounded in our spirituality, not in wearing blinders or escapism. My last point before a story and time for reflection. How do you expect that love, that hope to come? Clearly saying all the right things isn't enough. The great painter Vincent van Gogh once wrote to his brother Theo, quote, "Hoping for better times mustn't be a feeling, but a doing something in the present." Van Gogh to Theo. Some people of faith believe the way of God will come to the world at the end time when God breaks into history and makes everything okay. I don't believe that, which is no surprise. I believe we are called to work in concrete ways to help the kingdom come and God's will to be done. We dare to feel hope that love will win, not because the Spirit will make good things happen, but because of an openness in each one of our hearts and the heart of this community to collaborate with the mystery, the Holy One, in creating a more just, compassionate, kind, and loving world. In Dominic Crossan's words, without us, God won't, and without God, we can't. Friends, the spiritual life is lived, I believe, in the balance between hope and despair. Your struggle to find hope is not a sign of your faithlessness, or your lack of love. Your struggle to find hope is because you have so much love. Emily's bird singing in your soul a song of hope is not wishful thinking. My prayer is that you will be able to see that hope and that light while taking seriously the brokenness, lamenting the brokenness, and choosing not to be a spectator as love tries to see its way through, but to be present and collaborate with the mystery. How do we do that? How do we learn to see that light? I come to the end of my reflection. I'm going to tell a sweet story I once told here, and I doubt if you remember. It was, I think, in 2020 at a BLUES VESPERS, and if you're bored because I told you this story before, just don't snore. It's one of the sweetest memories in this 77-year-old person's life. My two daughters and I and their mom and friends spent 10 summers for a week at a cabin in Loon Lake, Washington, north of Spokane. Those two daughters, now amazing, independent women, we would grab them at about midnight once in every visit. And we would go at midnight. That's when they turned all the lights overhead at the place where we stayed. We would take our flashlights. We would walk down the hill, go down the stairs to the beach next to Loon Lake. We would lay our blankets down, lie back, and turn off our lights. Notice I said flashlights because this was BCP, before cell phones. We got to the beach and we would look up. And as soon as we turned off the flashlights, the sky became alive with light, twinkling stars. It was really amazing. If you've ever been in Spokane and it's so dark there, anyway, it was just extraordinary. And as we watched in stillness, our friends, Sarah, Laura, and I, all of a sudden we started to even see the different colors in the stars. You know, I grew up outside of New York. I mean, if I saw a star, I was really happy in the light. I didn't know there were different colors in stars, or at least I've never seen them. So we'd lie there, and Sarah would whisper, "Look, there's a red one." Laura would say, "Where? Where?" And Sarah would say, "Over there," and point towards the southern horizon. Stretched out at midnight on the warm sand next to the cool lake, we watched in the darkness, and the stars came into view. I close with some of the lessons that gave me. How do you see in the dark? How do you feel hope? You need to get away from the things that distract you. We had to get away from the cabin lights. You needed to lie and face the darkness and not be distracted. How do you see dark in the dark? How do you get hope in this troubled world? You need to be still. I wonder if we're all too restless, too distracted. How do we see in the dark in this troubled world? What does Loon Lake teach? We need other people. Like Laura needed Sarah to show her where that red star was. We need each other to help see light in this darkness. The old blues song is right. Help me, baby. I can't do it by myself. Finally, we need to be active, to be engaged. we never would have seen the light, those stars, if we stayed on our porch playing cribbage or sat on the couch reading our book. We had to get out in the world and be engaged with the world to see the light. I close with a poem, and then I'm going to ask you to reflect for a second. The poem is by Liesel Mueller. The thing is, it hovers in dark corners before the lights are turned on. It shakes sleep from its eyes and drops from mushroom gills. It explodes in the starry heads of dandelion-starred sages. It sticks to the wings of green angels that sail from the top of the maples. It sprouts in each occluded eye of the many-eyed potato. It lives in each earthworm segment, surviving cruelty. It is the motion that runs from the eyes to the tail of a dog. It is the mouth that inflates the lungs of the child that has just been born. It is a singular gift we cannot destroy in ourselves. The argument that refutes death, the genius that invents the future. All we know of God. It is the serum which makes us swear not to betray one another. Hope is in this poem trying to speak. Amen. So I want to ask 2 questions before concluding, which may be with yet another poem. I recognize that some people really like talking to their neighbor about a question, and I recognize that there are times we really would just like to sit with the question and not chat. So I'm going to ask a question, and you can decide if you want to share it with somebody or want to be in your own space. And if somebody turns to you to talk and you want to be in your own head, simply maybe just go like this, and that'll mean that they will honor your desire just to think about it. So my first question for you to share is, when the balance of life shifts away from hope towards despair, what are the things you do or could do to renew your sense of hope? Let's think about that for 2 minutes. And if you want, you can think about it with another. Let me shift to another question when you're ready, but if you're really in the middle of a thought, you never know how to do this. The poem I began with, Inshallah, is kind of based on the term, if God wills it. How do you balance trust in the mystery of God, Inshallah, with Van Gogh's words that ask us not to be passive, but to act out of hope? In your life or in the life of this community, are you more tempted towards trusting that the love will prevail and being more passive, or being too active and not trusting that the love will prevail? Or perhaps you are one of those people that has the perfect balance. I'm not. And I'll, at about 11 or so, close with a poem and let. Thank you for engaging with each other and with your own spirits. Thank you for being willing to be present with me and to me in this time, and welcoming Ann and I so warmly. Hope is trust. Hope is not denial. Hope involves grief and lament. And hope is active. I'll close with a poem about light that I wrote. And I have copies of it, I think, not for everybody, but if you're interested, there are copies on the chair back there. And it was published today on the Facebook poetry site, Echoes of Panhala, which publishes spiritual poems every day, and they published this one. I'll save my benediction, hopefully, for the end of the service. Hibernation. Early December, I wander across the park, and like I always do, I stop at Turtle Pond. Ice stretches across the pond's surface, catching the reflection of the blue sky above. No turtles. They are buried deep in the mud, hibernating, protected from the cold as they wait for spring. Nature keeps them alive until the sun calls them forth and they swim to the surface again. I gaze across the barren pond, trusting they are safe. These days, it is easy to look across our human landscape and see a frozen pond, barren, empty. So much in our common life has been lost. There is so much cruelty, meanness, and hatred as the will to power feels stronger than the power of love. Some days it feels like all that is decent and just is gone, out of reach, buried deep like those turtles in the mud at the bottom of the pond. We live in a cold season. There's a chill that has little to do with the temperature that caused the ice to cover sacred Turtle Pond. We wait like those red-eared slider turtles, snuggling in the mud until the light shines again and warmth animates those shell-covered beings and they swim upwards. We wait for light to animate us, to help us rise up, to bring a better day, wondering if the light will come in our time. We forget that we who wait can also be the light. Amen. Thank you.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Thank you, Isla. Thank you, Dave, for that beautiful sermon and our opportunity to share with each other. And this is the time when we ask each other to share in another way, share our gifts, the wealth that we've been given to live upon, and which this organization is given every week to maintain our property here, our beautiful historic building built in 1890. And we use the donations that we get both online from our people who are watching online and who give monthly or weekly whenever they can to help with the upkeep of the building, and who donate through our website, which is always available. There's a QR code in the program if you prefer to do it that way. Not everybody carries cash, but we do appreciate all forms of support, because it does cost money to run this organization, I promise you. And we do have a very tight budget, so we appreciate all the help that you give, and all the volunteer hours that save us a lot of money by having help around the building for the upkeep of the building and the continuation of the programs we have. And that leads us into our upcoming gatherings, which happen every day of the week, every evening, and mostly evening times. We gather for meditation groups, for classes, for studies of books. We have people studying the Masnawi of Maulana Rumi. We have people studying the Course in Miracles once a week, and we have people who get together in meditation. On Thursday evenings, there's a silent meditation group. There are people who get together for healing circles in the Native American tradition. And you can find all these things online under our ongoing gatherings. And you can get notification every Monday morning of the upcoming gatherings for that week. and who you can notify if you want to get on a Zoom call. Some of the meetings are held on Zoom, some are held in person, some are hybrid, some alternate from week to week. So it's hard to keep track of, but we do have listings, and you can get announcements by signing up for our newsletter, and you can also just go to the website yourself and look under the category that you're looking for and find when those various groups meet. And we encourage you to check in with us during the week, because once a week for an hour or so, maybe not be enough for all of us who need spiritual nourishment during the week. And so this is an opportunity to get together with folks and explore what your spiritual journey is looking like. So after the service today, we gather downstairs in the fellowship hall for our monthly guiding council meeting at 11:45, and there we deal with the business of the organization and things that need to be, decisions that need to be made, and things that are coming up, events that are coming up, and so on. Is there more? Yeah, more upcoming gatherings.
Since Brother Dave Brown is here, we're doing a public program at St. Joseph's in Bellevue. Myself, Pastor Dave Brown, Rabbi Olivier, and Sister Kathleen, I believe, on March 14th. It's a public program.
Just moderated by Jeff Renner, and it's hosted by the Center for Contemplative Prayer.
Yeah, you should get that to her. That should definitely go out, because that's something that many, several people that are part of our community will be involved in. Out.
It's the Center for Peace and Spirituality in Bellevue, run by an order of
Yes, Sisters of St. Joseph. Center for Spiritual, tell me the name of it so I can say it into the microphone. The Center for
Peace and Spirituality, I believe, by the order of
Sisters of St. Joseph, the Center of Peace and Spirituality. Yeah, right. It's a retreat center out there in Bellevue.
It's on Saturday from 10 until 3.
Saturday, March 14th, 10 till 3. And that'll be on our in our announcement page. Jamal, get that to Chiaki so she can, because it's really it's getting closer now. We need to put it up there. And good. Any other announcements of things coming up that we need to know about here? Okay.
I wanted to let everyone know that this is World Interfaith Harmony Week, and it's a week, actually almost 2 weeks of celebrations around the world by different groups. Many of the events are in person, but there's also a lot of events online. And later today, I'll be sending out an email with the links to the World Interfaith Harmony Week site, and you can take a look at their calendar and see what's being offered. The Charter for Compassion is offering daily events on Zoom, and Brother Jamal will be doing our event tomorrow morning with Brother Arun Waklu from Pune, India. And that promises to be a very delightful event at 8 a.m. tomorrow. And our charter events will be at 8 a.m. every day, except for this coming Saturday, we'll have one at 4 p.m. But I'll send the information out in an email to everyone.
You also do the program. You're participating with the regular group.
So, well, I've been an organizer for it, so I'm moderating some of the programs and assisting with them.
Thank you. Okay, and members, all members get that announcement that you send out. So if you're not getting that announcement and you want to, let me know, and I'll make sure you get on the list. So before we go to our closing blessings, we want to say goodbye to our friends online and thank them for being with us today. And I'll ring our little bell to mark the end of our service.